Relying on motivation is awesome, but it's not there every day. If something's hard and you don't want to do it, as soon as you get it done with, you're going to feel better every single time. One thing my dad has always taught me, and my mom too, think about the solution, not the problem. I think that we like to talk about our problems. Talking about our problems makes us feel better. Sometimes you don't need to think about the problem, you just need to think about how do I get rid of the problem. Because talking about how hard something is or how it's not fun or how much you hate it is not going to do you any good. I think we as humans sometimes don't know what we truly want or what we truly need. Sometimes the things that we want aren't going to glorify him. He'll either let us have it for a certain amount of time until he rips it from us, or he won't let us have it. If you're truly faithful to him, he'll make you go on a path that's going to glorify him. And it'll make you realize what you truly need instead of rather what you want.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Tickets Towards Success podcast, where we dive deep into personal growth, health, fitness, finance, and the mindset needed to thrive in all areas of life. I'm your host, Tucker Nunnikova, and want to thank you so much for tuning in to a special episode today. Today's episode, I'm joined by one of my best friends, Tyler Montalvo. I first met Tyler back in high school through mutual friends, and since then, he's become one of the most driven, inspiring, and genuinely hilarious people I know. Tyler is a dedicated CrossFit coach, a man of faith, and someone who embodies discipline and purpose. Over the past year, he's undergone an incredible transformation, dropping 100 pounds from 290 pounds to 190 pounds. And he's been pushing himself through CrossFit competitions, 5Ks, and even half marathons. Although his weight loss journey is impressive, the way he has been able to change his mindset on life is truly remarkable. And I'm so excited to have him share his perspective on life with all of you today. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing fitness, faith, and family, which are core staples not only in my life, but his as well. So help me welcome the first ever guest on the Tickets Towards Success podcast. Welcome, Tyler. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me. Thanks for the kind words as well.
Of course, man. Of course. You deserve all of the kind words that I just said and many, many more. How's your day been?
Been good. Pretty chill Saturday. Just got done at the gym. I was there all day, so it was a good day.
Nice. Did you have a lot of coaching to do today, or are you just working out today?
Nope, just working out. No coaching today. So
yeah,
nice.
You're back in Oski today, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm on my way to move up to Des Moines, so just back in Oski, getting some stuff rounded up. So
getting all of your belongings and getting ready for the big move up to the big Des Moines, right?
Yes, sir.
Nice. And you had some dinner with your family tonight?
Yep. Hung out with my family. My aunt from New York's in town, so got to see her for a little bit, catch up. So that was really nice.
Nice. What'd you guys have?
We went to a brewery here in Oskaloosa, small town brewery, and they do hot dogs. So like gourmet hot dogs it's freaking awesome.
Which one is that?
It's called gosh, I can't remember what the actual name is.
That's all good. I was just curious.
I'll have to look it up. But no, It's so good. They make they're a brewery, so they brew their own beer in-house, and I've had a couple of them. I'm not a big drinker nowadays, but when I do, that's a good place to go. Good place to go.
Those are the ones that you prefer?
Yeah. Some good IPAs and stuff, so.
Yeah, I didn't even know that Oski. I'm from Oski as well. Tyler and I grew up together, like I said. So I didn't even know that there was a brewery there, to be honest. Do you know if they like just opened or?
In the last year or so, probably.
Oh, that's probably why I don't really, I don't go back too much. So.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that you've had a great day. Let's get into a little bit here about fitness. I want to talk about that first because I know it's such a huge staple in your life. It's became such an important aspect of what you do every single day. Obviously here on the podcast, I talk a ton about fitness. It's big for me as well, kind of like a therapy is what I like to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a little bit about like what fitness really means to you and how it's transformed your life over the
Yeah.
past couple of years?
So I think fitness to me, dude, is literally everything we do in life. Like if you're bending down to pick up something off the floor, you have to have some capacity of fitness to do that. Like some people are not able to do that. Like or
Right.
put something up on a shelf or walk up the stairs or even walk. Like it literally is your fitness level determines a lot of things in your life, and I don't think a lot of people realize that.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. Do you have do you have a definition for fitness?
um, that's a good question. I don't, I guess, like off the top of my head, but
Hmm.
if I had to define fitness, like a general sense of fitness, I think I would define it somewhere along the lines of longevity because,
Mm,
like you just said, fitness is in our everyday lives, whether it's picking something up off the ground, carrying your groceries in from,
hmm.
from the grocery store, or running around with your kids, like, or your
Hmm.
grandkids even, or just your kids when you're older. Um, and you want to be able to do that for as long as you can. So
Yep.
my definition of fitness would be somewhere along the lines of longevity and being able to do that and do daily activities for a long period of time.
Yep. Yeah,
Would
I
you?
agree. I'd say I think you're describing health. So
Yeah,
I think health. So I think the difference between health and fitness. So I think fitness is this is more of a definition of like this is a CrossFit thing. So
yeah,
like this thing that I do love about CrossFit is they make definitions for things. So like fitness, if you look up fitness, it's like or health. I think the definition of health is the absence of disease.
sure,
Like that doesn't tell you anything about someone's health.
right,
You know what I'm saying? Just because someone doesn't have diseases doesn't
yeah,
mean that they're healthy. You know what I'm
right,
saying? Um, so like the thing that I like about CrossFit is they define that. So like fitness is your work capacity across broad time and modal domains. So like fitness, I would say in that sense is like um the capacity to do something over a spectrum of time. So like maybe that's moving something, maybe that's um endurance race, maybe that's there's a lot of different things that go into that. And then I think health
right,
would be your fitness over your lifetime. So
yeah,
like what you're saying is like longevity and like how you take care of your body, you know?
yeah. And I definitely get that, like, um, that CrossFit definition too, because the like when you said endurance race, that really clicks with me too, because your fitness level can be based off an endurance race. Not,
Hmm.
there's like 1% of people in the world actually run and finish marathons.
Hmm.
Like that's crazy. But, a lot of people sign up, you go to these races and you see how many people are there. You're like, no way, it's just 1%, but that's an
Hmm.
actual statistic, right?
Yeah.
So that's a level and measurement of fitness right there. So
Hmm.
I like that definition. I'm glad that you
Yeah.
brought that today.
And then there's some other things that I wanted to sort of touch on too. So like how we are just talking about endurance. So like that's one of the 10 aspects of fitness or like
Right.
your physical skills. So like the first one is cardiovascular endurance, then stamina, strength, flexibility, power, speed, coordination, agility, balance, and accuracy. So like that's the thing that I really do about CrossFit or cross training, however you want to say it, hybrid training. Um, the more things you put into your routine and the more you can mix it up and do different things, it just makes you more fit and more able to do whatever you want to do in life, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
And I just, the this episode will come out on Monday, so it'll be June 16th. I made a hybrid athlete episode, and just the importance of training like not just a hybrid athlete, but just an athlete in general.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of correlation there with CrossFit too, because I actually talked about CrossFit in that episode about how you guys do, EMOMs or AMRAPs. That's like a staple in CrossFit. Everybody can do that, but people that are in CrossFit do it pretty frequently in their training programs. And it's just so important because also adding in the mobility, like you said, or just like flexibility is very important as well. And that's what I love about hybrid training, because it requires you to do all of that. Because if you don't, you're not going to make it. And I think that's the same with CrossFit too, because if you don't take care of yourself, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, CrossFit especially has that bad rap where like, oh, you do all this crazy stuff, you're gonna hurt yourself. Like, I don't know. Like, obviously, if you were to start doing CrossFit, you're not gonna walk in and do a muscle up.
Right.
Like people think, oh, you're gonna hurt yourself doing that. Well, there's a lot of steps before you get to that point. Like, yeah, you could probably hurt yourself doing a muscle up, but you could also hurt yourself by walking outside.
Yeah.
You can step in a hole and break your leg or something.
Yeah. And you're not going to come in and do a 250-pound clean and jerk. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, you got to ease into just like running. Like people think, like I love and hate it when people come and ask me like, oh, what should I do? Or things like that. And they're like, well, I tried changing my nutrition. I tried going to the gym. Try one thing. Change one thing at a time, man. Like people are trying to do way too much. And like pick one thing, get good at it, start doing it over and over and over. And once you can do it over and over and over consistently, add another thing, add another aspect.
Right. And that's kind of what you did too. Like, I don't want to jump ahead, but with like CrossFit and then into running, and we'll talk about like your running journey too as well a little bit later on. But you got really good at CrossFit, and then you kind of ventured off into running and just tried that, and now that's almost became a staple as well. So just like you just said, and I talk about this here on the podcast sometimes too with hybrid training, because you can't go in and run 10 miles, one morning and then go hit a heavy leg day or even a heavy push day or whatever you want to do that night. That's just not how it works. You got to, I always say that if you come from a lifting background and you want to go into hybrid training, go in and focus on endurance since you already have that lifting background, and then vice versa. That way you can get better at both, or at one, and then have both in your arsenal or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I totally agree with that.
Yeah. Cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's talk about some of your goals. I know that you have a few goals. I know that there's something coming up soon for a competition that you're going to be in, if I recall correctly. So what are some of those goals that you're currently chasing or looking to accomplish here in the near future?
So I do have a competition in July coming up at the end of July in Missouri, Kansas City. It's called the Monster Games. It's put on by First Form, so the supplement company. They're a pretty big deal in the space and just fitness in general. But they put on this Monster Games every year, and it's a fitness event. It's not put on by CrossFit, so it's not a CrossFit event, but it's fitness. So it's a 3 days. It was you had to get into an online qualifier. So my partner that I was originally with has hurt himself.
Oh.
So so he hurt his back probably 3 or 4 months ago, and then I've been trying to find a new partner. I think I have a couple of potential people I could go with still. New friends that I've met up in Des Moines that could be really great. But my goal for that is they let 60 teams in, and I was the last slot to make it in. So I was 60th in this qualifier. So I think there was over 100 teams that signed up for this division. So we're going to be in men's intermediate duos. So I think I saw online yesterday they have almost 1,000 athletes participating, and then 6 different countries represented. Like it's a pretty big event.
Yeah. Is this
There's
in Kansas
swimming in it.
City? Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So they just released one of the events. It's going to be a 500-meter swim and 12 legless rope climbs out of the pool.
Oh.
So like, I don't know how I trained for that, but uh, just like things like that, like that's another thing about CrossFit that I really do enjoy is the constantly varied. You never know what you're going to do. Like so I like follow someone else's programming. Like I never know what I'm going to do the next day. Like I can look, but like whatever, you know.
Yeah. What's the
But
point? Yeah.
yeah, when I get to the gym, I'm going to do it either way. So
Right.
um, that's what I do enjoy about the CrossFit thing is the variation. Um, like if I went into a conventional gym like you do, like I'm sure your routine is. I've done your routine with you a couple times.
Yeah.
It's great, but like for me, I get very bored. So that's a cool aspect that I do enjoy about that. But
Yeah. And see,
um,
I'm a little bit opposite than you
yeah,
on that.
yeah,
I like
you like your routine.
yeah, and I also like to know if I'm going into a competition, I like to know what I'm doing. Like if I'm going into
Hmm.
an endurance race, I like to know that I'm running 13.1 miles.
Hmm. Yeah.
Or if I'm going, like if I were to ever do a high rocks event, those are all the same, or not the same. Some they switch up, but
Hmm.
before that specific event what it's
Yeah.
going to be.
Yeah. The
But
layout and how it's gonna go and
yeah,
yeah. So that's my goal for that event. And then the IMT is in October, marathon. So I got done with the half last year and I barely survived it, man. Like the last mile couldn't see hardly in front. Like I got tunnel vision bad. Like I couldn't see around me. Like I ran into somebody at the finish line because I literally didn't see them in my side view. Um, but then I got done like a couple weeks after that. I don't know I'm pretty sure it's just you. You talked me into it.
yeah. I got this guy into running, by the way, just a little bit
Like
of backstory. Yeah.
yeah, so you got me into running by the 5K
Yeah.
because you're like, dude, just do a 5K.
Just come
It's
do a
easy.
5K with me.
Come do a
Yeah.
5K. So I started like there's a lot of running in CrossFit, but it's like it's sort of like when we did that workout. Me and Tucker had a wedding a couple months ago, and we what did we do? Running, air squats, burpees, push-ups,
Yeah, we
simple
didn't have any
simple EMOM.
equipment, so it was just like a hotel gym. So we just found something to do. Yeah,
Yeah, simple EMOM, and like I'm used to mixing running with things, but not just running.
right.
And you're the exact opposite. So like
Yep.
when we did that, you sort of died. But
Yeah.
I die when I only run. So like uh just getting used to running right now is like I haven't been super serious about like a marathon training like schedule like you would be. Um I think that's some things that I do in CrossFit can supplement that. Um but my plan for that is probably a month and a half out. I'll start um, bringing down the intensity and all my other training. So I'm not going to stop
Yeah.
CrossFit because
Yeah.
I can't. Like if I stop CrossFit for a month and a half, I'm going to lose what I've done in the last year.
Yeah.
I could bounce back pretty easy probably, but my body composition is going to change
Right.
radically if I only run. So I think like right now I'm doing at least once a week a longer run. I started with like a 5K. I've slowly started working that up to at least 6 to 7 miles every week. About a month ago, I ran a half marathon in training just because I was feeling good, um, which was sort of blew my mind because I was the first couple miles, man, I was hurting and like that's the thing that I really do enjoy about running is like for some reason, man, that first mile is the hardest.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
You're breathing the heaviest. Like
breathing the
you're like,
heaviest,
this sucks.
and then 1 minute you're fine, and you're like, why? How? how does that work? You know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah.
and then you can sort of trick your mind into thinking, I can do this.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. It's
All you
like,
got to do
oh,
is say
all I got
step
to do
by,
is keep on moving.
yep, step by step. That's all you got to keep saying. And that,
Yeah.
dude, that's the beauty. That's why I always told you when you first started running, like, dude, run in zone two, run in zone two,
Hmm.
run in zone two. Like, not all the time, but that's where you're going to find, like, I always talk about clarity on here. That's
Hmm.
where I find my solitude and my clarity. I'm sure that you have something that you find in zone two too.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's that first mile, it's weird. And
Yep.
then you kind of settle in, you kind of find your groove a little bit.
Yep. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's it's like hearing the little voices in your head, you know what I'm saying? Like you really
Yeah.
find what's bothering you really,
Yeah.
really fast, especially if you don't listen to music or things
Yeah.
like that. If you go out and raw dog it,
Yeah. Yeah.
you'll figure out what is wrong with your life really fast.
And I never listen to music anymore. I probably haven't listened to music in the past year and a half for any
Yeah,
kind of running. Like, cause I just
that's
don't prefer
crazy.
it anymore.
Yeah.
I told you this one day before I went into marathon prep. I said, you're going to come up and run a race with me. You're going to run with me one day and we're going to get into our mind. We're going to run really slow and
Hmm.
we're going to dig deep into our mind and see what
Yeah.
we can find. And that's my favorite part of running. And that's like, yeah, like you said, you can get into your thoughts and figure out what's bothering you in life and you
Yeah.
can figure out how to fix it. That's the
Yeah.
important part too.
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing quite like it,
Yeah.
you know?
But yeah, dude, IMT is on my list. Possibly for this year. Obviously, you know that I've had the back
Hmm.
injury, but I might be able to make it down there and compete in that. So we'll see. So I might be there with you.
Heck
But
yeah.
I'm gonna wait to drop that news probably in the next month or so to see if I can make that happen. But we'll
Heck
see.
yeah.
Yeah. So we discussed running, um, kind of how you got into that and what you think of it now and how it's kind of built into your life and into your fitness program.
Hmm.
You know, within all of this training, CrossFit, running, how important is recovery to you? I know you do a lot of different things for recovery.
Oh, dude, you can do a lot with recovery. And one thing I have learned is you don't need to spend a whole lot of money
Yeah.
either. People think that you need to go out and buy all these tools. Tools are awesome. I've spent a lot of money on these tools, said tools.
Yeah.
Um, but taking a cold shower every day,
Mhm.
that's no more, that's probably cheaper than taking a hot shower just because you don't got to heat the water, right? So like things like that, simple, like, so my routine, if my day worked perfectly every day, I start my morning with cold plunge, especially like 4 in the morning, dude. I've been starting my new job coaching. I got to be at the gym at 4:45 ready to go. So like class starts at 5, so that's 15 minutes, get everything set up, make sure I'm good to go. Um, if I start with a cold plunge, man, I don't need an energy drink
Yeah.
or coffee. I'm starting to get into coffee, by the way. You'd be happy
Let's
to hear.
go. Is it black? Just black
Yep,
coffee?
I'd
Let's
be good.
go.
Yep. Uh, yeah, my boss is big on coffee, so she's been trying to slowly convert me. Tucker's
It's the
been
best.
on this shit for a year on
Dude,
me now, so
if I don't have black coffee in the morning, I will get a massive migraine later that day. I have to have it.
hmm.
But I've been getting into espresso lately. It's been my
Yep,
kick. Yeah.
yep.
Basically the
Get a
same
little
thing.
shot. Yeah, extra
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah.
But so 4 o'clock in the morning, ice plunge, 3 minutes, um, nothing. And I do it at 38 degrees, but you don't need to do it that cold. If you were to spend money on an ice plunge, start at 45, go
Yeah.
down. You know, you don't need to start at 38. I just really enjoy doing hard things now. Like,
Yeah.
um, it's sort of like when I was getting used to like zone two, like I don't have to go fast. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It's the same thing with that. You don't have to go that cold.
And I
But
actually think that like I've seen a few people that have talked on social media. Sorry to cut you off there, but
no, you're good.
um, I think there's no added benefit to a cold plunge or cold exposure if you go below like 55 or 54 degrees.
Hmm.
So you would get the same benefit if you're at
Yeah.
52 compared to 8 degrees.
Yep.
It's just
Yep.
that the only difference is you're training your mindset. Yeah.
Yep.
It's the only
Yep.
difference,
That's the only thing. So
which is good too.
there's a subtle difference, I think, but it's like so minuscule that it doesn't matter, you know?
Yeah.
So it's all mental. And then stretching, ending, so so start your day with ice plunge is my recommendation. End the day with stretching. Um, and in the middle, before bedtime, ideally before you eat supper or something like that, just so you don't get sick while you're in there, the sauna. Um, like I know that your gym has a sauna.
Yeah.
Just hit the sauna after. If your gym has a sauna, hit the sauna for 10, 15 minutes, man. Like I'm telling you, especially if you can do the ice plunge and the sauna, that's gonna burn an extra 600 calories, just like
It's
that.
crazy. Yeah.
Like it boosts your metabolism. Like my metabolism sucks.
It's true.
Like like things like that like are gonna help you every single day. Like if you do that every single day, think about how many extra calories you can burn. Like I'm not a calorie counter. Don't get me on that. I don't do
Yeah.
that. Um, but if you were to burn an extra 600 calories a day for a whole week, that adds up. So like if you're going into deficit, that adds up tremendously.
Yeah.
Or even if you're not trying to go into deficit and you were like still getting short, you could add that much more food or whatever intake. So
Right. Yeah.
like
And
I don't. Oh, go ahead.
sorry. um yeah, we talk a lot about like losing weight and losing body fat on here too, because you know that I
Hmm.
am a calorie counter, especially right now, because I'm
Hmm.
trying to shed body fat and just build lean muscle.
Yep.
So if you look at it in the perspective that you just said, losing 600 extra calories from two simple things per day is a
Hmm.
drastic difference when it comes to shedding body fat and losing weight, because it can
For
help
less than
you
20 minutes a day.
less than 20 minutes. And you can, I mean, that's the difference
Crazy.
between eating or burning 2,500 calories and 3,100 calories.
Hmm.
Like it's unbelievable. So
Yep.
if you're trying to lose weight or trying to lose body fat, doing those two simple things can help you get to that point without having to even exercise longer or more throughout the day.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
that's a really good point.
Like if I were coaching someone um that was morbidly obese, I would start with that. Like, hey, how about we go on a walk every day, and how about you sit in the sauna for 10 minutes or five
Yeah.
minutes even. Start with 5 minutes and work up. Like they're going to be burning more energy than they would be doing nothing, you
Yeah.
know? And that's like hardly even changing what they're doing. So,
Yeah. You just going there and sitting there basically.
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
most of the time, if they're going for a short time, you can be on your phone even for a while in there. So, it's like there's really no excuse. Like you can be lazy about some things. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't
Yeah.
have to be. It doesn't have to be hard. People make it hard.
Yeah. And I mean, what I do cold showers because I don't have a plunge like you
Hmm.
do. But they take what, 3 minutes? That's all
Yeah,
I do
you're
is
already
three
gonna be
minutes.
showering,
Yeah. Yeah.
so why not?
And what I do, this might be gross to some people, but I will shower at night and cleanse myself, right? And then when I wake up in the morning, I just do a cold shower and I
Hmm.
feel incredible throughout the day. Because if I do a warm shower in the morning, it makes me a little bit like groggy and tired. So I prefer that cold
Hmm.
shower to boost my dopamine
Yep.
and get a good start to the day. I'm sure that the cold plunge is the same.
Hmm. Yep. The dopamine boost is crazy from cold exposure.
Yeah. I
Yep.
can't remember. It's compared to something, but I can't remember exactly what it is. I'd have to go back and look at that. But
Yeah.
all right,
I think I know
so
what you're talking about.
yeah, it's like I don't remember what it is. Maybe I'll look it up quick while you're answering or talking.
But I
Um,
think the hardest part for recovery for me is consistently stretching. Um, like right now, the last 2 months, I'd say I've been having bad back pain in my lower back. Every day that I stretch, guess what I don't have?
Lower back pain. Yeah,
Yes. And
dude.
get, and that's because I'm lazy and I don't want to do it for 15 minutes at night. Like, guys, don't be stupid.
Yeah,
Stretch. Like, it's really simple. And I hate doing it. So I'm telling myself this as well. But yeah.
dude, I'm with you because obviously I have my back issue right now, and I stretch in the mornings,
Hmm.
like because that just it helps me feel better
Just in
throughout
your
the day with
schedule.
my
Yeah.
back. Yeah, and with my schedule. And right now I've been going through a kick of like struggling with waking up early enough to get that in. And when I do
Hmm.
get it in, I feel great. My back doesn't hurt at work nearly as much. And
Hmm.
then when I don't, it just kills all day. And I sit there, I'm like, gosh, if I would just get up and stretch, it feels so much better for, like you said,
Hmm.
15 to 20 minutes. That's all you need for
Yep.
stretching, really.
Yep.
And you can throw some mobility in there too,
Hmm.
honestly.
And if you're like with my hips, like my hips and my back hurt. So like mine stem from my hamstrings being really tight. So like it's my hamstrings are tight, pulling my hips forward, my back's caving in on my tailbone area, and then it's stretching out all my muscles. So then that's why it's angry, right? So like it's just finding that little the muscle or whatever is bothering you. It's if your elbow is bothering you, it's not your elbow. It's probably something in your forearm or your bicep, like or
Yep.
your shoulder even like everything's connected. You just gotta you gotta figure out and understand what's your body's like.
Yeah.
It's
And
different
that's
with
pretty
everybody
crazy
too.
too, like that it works like that,
Hmm.
Because I know like when I stretch my calves really well, I bought like this it's I guess a calf stretcher. It's just like an incline board plank
Hmm.
that you can set at different levels. I just got it off Amazon, and when I stretch my calves really well, my back tends to have less pain as well.
Yeah,
So just
because
everything's
that's
connected up that side,
yeah,
But
it's that because it tugs on your hamstrings and your hips are moving and then your hips are making yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
it's
Yeah,
crazy.
it is really weird, but stretch.
So what is so what's been like the hardest part about you're very disciplined, dude. The discipline that you've been able to build over the over your journey over the past year has
Hmm.
been crazy to watch. And I have a lot of respect for you for that because it's something that is very hard to do. Um so when it comes to training and nutrition, how do you push through those tougher days where you don't want to do it, or you wake up at 3:55 a.m. and you're like, shit, man, I just don't got it today. How do you push through that? What do you tell yourself?
Um, I I don't know. I tell people that like relying on motivation is awesome, but it's not there every day. Some
No.
days I wake up and I don't like life and I don't want to be here and I don't want to be at the gym. And it's just, you gotta do it. And when you
Yeah.
do it, I guarantee if something's hard and you don't want to do it, as soon as you get it done with, you're gonna feel better
Yeah.
every single time. No matter if it's writing a paper for school, doing something for your boss at work, or whatever it is. Like if you got a big project at work, you don't want to do it. You've been working on months and months and months of work. You finally roll it out, and you're like, wow, okay, now I feel some kind of gratitude because I put in all this work and I have the result now.
Right.
Um, and I think people are so in today's age, we're instant results all the time, right? So
Yep.
like you get bored, you get on your phone, you start scrolling through TikTok or Instagram. I don't have TikTok, but Instagram or whatever you got. And it's like you get that little dopamine rush and like you feel good for a second, like um you just I tell myself that like I know I will get the results that I want by being disciplined. And there's no other way. There's no fast fix at
No.
all in life in general. Um, if you want to make money, you got to go put in the work. If you want a nice looking body, if you want to look good naked, essentially,
Yeah.
you got to put in work, right? Like, I don't know. Like, that's, but you don't just wake up with that, man. It's a
Yeah.
lot. I don't even know how. Yeah, we've been friends for so long. You've seen the old me and I guess the new me, right?
Right.
Um, yeah, I just I like going to the gym. Like before in my previous job, I managed restaurants, and I think I never thought my job was hard, but dealing with people is hard sometimes. And I knew whatever I did in the gym was going to be 1,000 times harder than whatever ever I had to deal with at work. So
Yeah.
like whether or not if I had to go and fire someone or do something that I don't want to do, um, I know that I have more pain by running 3 miles. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If I went and ran 3 miles, that's going to bring me more pain and misery than firing someone. You know what I'm saying? Like, not necessarily, I guess. That sounds horrible when I say it like that, but it's just training your mind to do hard things, and you will eventually fall in love with it, you know?
Yeah. And I get that. A lot of people talk about like some of these bigger influencers or just more, successful people out there that talk on social
Hmm.
media. They always say, I heard one guy say specifically that he's like, I get up at 4 a.m. every single day. I go and annihilate my body in the gym or running or whatever that may be, if a form of
Hmm.
exercise. And then I know that there is nothing that will impact me or be as hard throughout the rest of my day than what I put myself through that morning. So he's
Exactly.
basically setting himself up to do the hardest thing in the morning
Hmm.
so he can go through the rest of his day and be like, "Oh, I did this earlier this morning. I just did whatever that workout was. I can sit here and take this business call. I can sit here and write this script or whatever that may be. I can shoot this
Hmm.
video." And I think that's super powerful too. Uh, that's why I always loved running in the mornings too, because it felt like I was doing something hard before I went into work, where
Hmm.
a lot of people sometimes don't want to go.
Yeah.
All right, so you have lost 100 pounds in a little over a year. So you've competed in CrossFit events, endurance events. So what really flipped the switch mentally for you to start the journey? Like what made you, over a year ago when you were sitting at that weight, that larger weight,
Hmm.
what made you want to start the journey of getting more fit and getting into fitness?
So my fitness journey started about 2 years and 4 months ago. But the first year is when I lost the 100 pounds. So that's been a
Oh, okay.
year and 6 months, just 6-ish months. But dude, I remember the day very vividly. So I've never really thought of myself as a sad person necessarily. I've always like I feel like when people usually describe me, it's I'm a happy guy, you know. People like to be around me because I try to give off good vibes, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I remember the day very vividly. I was sitting in a work meeting, like a leadership meeting at work, and my boss was stressed out. And this guy is probably one of the most hardest working guys I've ever met in my life. He was dedicated to his craft, and he worked every day, 7 days a week, all the time. And we were in this meeting and talking about some hard stuff, right? Um, and he just started breaking down crying, and I was like, hey, um, what's the issue? Like, obviously you're here all the time, never doing anything. Like, obviously working in your business and doing that is good for you. Like, and he's doing it for himself, right? But he's not doing anything for himself because
Right.
he's putting all of his time and energy into running this business, and I have a lot of respect for that. And I just told him, I said, when was the last time you took some time for you and just like spent an hour with yourself, like
Yeah.
essentially, no matter what that is. Maybe it's reading, like a hard thing. So everyone has different things that are hard for them or easy for them. So like reading a book is hard for me. Like it's very hard for me to sit down and focus on something like that. Um, or maybe it's going on a walk, or whatever, just spending time with yourself and bettering yourself through doing something, right? So I told him, I was like, hey, maybe you should start working out, or maybe you should take a walk every day, or spend some time to get to know yourself more, and like not think about being here or doing, just get out of here for a little bit.
Yeah.
And so, because obviously, dude was just down bad, right?
Yeah.
And I was sort of driving on the way home, and it like sort of dawned on me that I was talking to myself, like I'm not happy. I am constantly sad and depressed about every little thing. I'm always complaining about the situations I'm in, or um, basically just throwing a pity party for myself, right? Like, and just not living life because things are hard, right?
Yeah.
Like, um, so every day after I got off work, I would go hang out with the boys, right? So I pull up to the boys' house, and they all my homies lived together at the time, and one of my good friends, Jaden, he was changing and in his room, and I was like, hey, what's up, man? What are you doing? He's like, oh, just changing, about to go to the gym. And I was like, maybe I should go with you. And he goes, what? I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, dude, let me go stop by my house and grab some gym clothes. He did not hesitate. He said, no, dude, here's some gym clothes. Like, he was not going to let me go home and like second guess my decision,
That
you
sounds like
know?
Jaden too. Yeah.
So I I went to the gym, and I started out. So if you follow me on Instagram, any of your followers, um, I post all my workouts, and I do some crazy shit. I'm not gonna lie. Like my
Yeah.
me and my the programming that me and my friends follow is hard, and it's long, and it takes multiple hours a day. Um, but I did not start there. That's what I'm trying to get to. I started with one workout a day, 3 times a week. And I remember that first day I walked in, they were, they were already on that level of doing all the volume and, all the skills and all that stuff. So I went in and I chose the Metcon is metabolic conditioning. So like anything that's going to be like raising your heart rate, things, yeah,
Yeah.
And so I just start with one of those a day. Maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday I would go in. Monday I'd hit a Metcon. Wednesday I'd lift, and then Friday maybe do some kind of endurance stuff on the machine, or slowly. And then this turned into, Vincent was like one of my best friends. He's also a trainer at the gyms that I work at, and he's like, hey, you know what? If you come for the next 2 months, 3 times a week, I'll buy you a first pair of CrossFit shoes. And that was like, huh, that I love shoes. That's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll do that. I was like, and like low key, I wanted to prove to him and to myself that like I could actually do this thing, right? Because um in high school, I started doing CrossFit in high school, but I was one of those people that would go to the gym for maybe a month, even go consistently for a month, and then I wouldn't go on the next Monday, and then I'd be like, oh, you know what, I'll just go the next time, or I'll just go Friday, and then that turns into not going for another 2 months, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm basically shouldn't have even worked out for that month because it doesn't matter anymore, you know.
Right.
And I just kept on getting stuck into the cycle, and I wanted to prove to myself, and my people around me that I could do this, and I'm capable of doing whatever I want to do. And that's that snowballed into start going every day, and then start doing the 2-a-days, and then full programming and all that stuff. So, um,
Now you're a coach.
yeah, yeah, dude.
Now we're here.
If you would have told me 3 years ago when I was 300 pounds that I would be moving up to Des Moines to become a CrossFit coach, I would have laughed at you, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
No, and I
I
just
don't.
want to point out too that, you know, the Tyler that you hear from, and I mean this in the most respectful way, Tyler, that
Mhm,
the guy that you hear from today is a completely different person than he was 3 years ago. It's like I said in the introduction, it's incredible about what he's been able to do. I mean, we tried to get him to work out. And you probably remember this. We tried to get you to go to the gym all the time. Like even when
mhm,
I wasn't really even going to the gym, I would just work out because I was playing sports in college. But I
yeah.
know Vincent and Will would try and get you to go, and you were always it didn't seem like you had any interest.
Mhm,
Um, so it makes me so happy to see that you were able to figure that out by yourself. But
mhm,
then, and we're going to talk about faith in a little bit, but it's almost like God pulled you to that gym that day with Jaden,
yeah.
because talking to your boss, seeing what he was struggling with, driving home, having that realization, and then just saying, "What's up, Jaden?" And then him saying, "I'm going to the gym," and then you have that
Yeah.
realization again,
Mhm,
and then him offering you the shorts so you don't second guess, and then boom,
yeah.
that's kind of crazy to think about.
It is, dude. My life recently has been so crazy. I don't know if I'm ready to talk about everything yet, but if
Well,
you
you'll
want to
be
follow me
back.
on Instagram, yeah, I will be. I'm sure I'm going to be making some reels here soon of just about what's going on in my life. Because if you're being stagnant and not getting better, God's going to let you know, man. And he's
Yeah,
not going to let you be there anymore. And he's going to rip you out, and he's going to make your life really hard.
yeah. Excuse my French, but he's gonna kick you in your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
yeah.
So, but
But
yeah.
that's crazy, man. And like I said, I'm glad that you're able to get to that point, you know, by yourself and through that realization. And I know you kind of touched on this too, but how has your physical transformation like changed the way that you look at yourself? Not just your body, but who you are as a person as well.
hmm I I used to doubt myself a lot, and just like, you know, it's like I don't know, like when you study for a test and you're going to do well on a test, and like versus not studying and having that anxiousness all the time. That's sort
Yeah,
of how I feel now. Like
yeah,
uh when rough events in my life have happened recently, I turned my mindset has changed so much that I realize when because I still have the same tendencies that I did 3 years ago.
yeah,
They never will go away.
yeah,
Um, it's a fight every single day, and you just add those wins on top of each other. So when you come across something that's challenging you, you can deal with it.
yeah,
And whether if that's in the gym or life, work, having kids, having a family, whatever it is, like I'm not to that point yet, but I guarantee when me and you become fathers, we're gonna become get to these obstacles that we've never experienced before, and we will overcome them because we have trained our mind to know so.
yeah,
Like there's no doubt in my mind. Like, yeah, like if I tell myself right now I can't run an Ironman, yeah, I can't run an Ironman.
yeah,
But if I tell myself, yeah, I can run an Ironman, and I go train every day for the next year to go do that, I am going to believe when I get to that start line that I can finish it, and I will
yeah.
finish it. So um and not your perception of yourself will change radically, but the way other people will treat you also changes.
Yeah.
It's um you know, when I was 300 pounds, my employees at the time probably didn't respect me that much. You know, like they liked me. They thought I was cool. Sure, I was a cool boss, but uh, I'm sure they didn't have a respect for me that they did like recently. So people will treat you differently, and they will in a good way
Yeah.
too.
And
Um,
I think it's like people seeing that you are accomplishing what you said you were going to. And people like
exactly.
to see that
Yeah,
because
and
everybody has doubts in themselves. And like the
mhm,
more people that are able to do that, the more we're able to spread that message to people that have those doubts that they
mhm,
can overcome them.
yeah. And there's always like I remember um when I first stopped vaping, for instance. I've been nicotine free for a year and it's June, so a year and 4 months now. Um, I remember people at work telling me, like, oh, you can't do that. Like,
Yeah.
you will, if you're doing something that's worth doing, people are going to tell you you can't do it just
Hmm.
because they're going to try to make their selves feel better about not doing the hard thing. Um, all those people that told me that I couldn't stop vaping, I couldn't go and lose 100 pounds, or if they didn't do that, they're the same person that they were 3 years ago. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's another big thing. Just don't let people influence your dreams, you know?
Yeah.
And like people will be excited for you, and that will end someday though, you know?
Yeah.
So don't rely on that either.
Yeah. And I like to think or talk about that too on here sometimes about when, I post a lot of content. A
Hmm.
lot of content that, this podcast is one of those is putting myself out there in ways that I never have before. And
Hmm.
on social media as well, TikTok, Instagram, posting those reels and talking about real shit, dude. That's all
Hmm.
I'm trying to talk about and spread that awareness. But it's tough because a lot of people will, they'll say a lot of things about it like, oh, that was super cringy, or, that sucks.
Yep.
Like, what are you even doing? Or like, bro, you look small in the gym. Like, just hateful comments. But
Hmm.
eventually you have to overcome that.
Yep.
The people that say that, because, you know, like you had said, the people that are saying that only say it because they have doubts in themselves.
Hmm.
So there's no point in listening to what they have to say sometimes.
Exactly. So,
So last question on fitness here. If there is someone listening to this podcast that feels stuck like in their fitness journey specifically, what is one thing that you would tell them to help them keep moving forward and taking another step and doing another day?
I'd say exactly the last fragment of what you just said. Go one more day
Go one more day.
every night. Like like in the morning when you lay down, it feels good to lay down. And when you get back up, if you've been going hard, it's gonna hurt to get up.
Yeah.
Your
You
body's gonna hurt.
might have to roll out
And
of bed.
dude, that Deadpool meme where he's like rolling over, it's like, yeah, that's me rolling out of bed every morning.
Yeah.
Um, your body's gonna hurt, and you just got to keep on going. Um, or maybe you're not even to the point of hurting. Maybe it's hurting in your mind, or being sad, or being depressed, whatever you want to call it. Go that one more day, because I guarantee you do enough of those one more days, you'll find a meaning in whatever you're doing, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes God won't allow you to see an end, you know? Sometimes it feels like the road that you're traveling on is going to be forever. And there's a turn at some point, roads don't go straight forever,
Yeah. That's where
you know?
faith comes in, right?
Yeah. And, yeah, you just go like you're a big Nick Bear guy. Go one more, you
Yeah.
know? Um,
Shout out my boy, Nick Bear.
yeah. Yeah. He has a lot of good stuff.
He's a G.
Um, but it's just, do stuff that you don't want to do because that means it's worth doing,
Yeah.
probably. You
And
know?
I'll add on that too, just to wrap up this fitness part, is what you just said, going one more day. David Goggins says this, and if you don't know who David Goggins is, Tyler, obviously you do. The hardest, most disciplined person on the entire planet. There's no one harder than him,
Hmm.
right? He says the way that he was able to keep going is when he laid his head on his pillow at night, he would ask himself, can I go one more day? And the answer was always yes.
Hmm.
So when you lay your head on the pillow at night, ask yourself that question, and it should be yes, because you realistically can continue to keep going and be honest
Hmm.
with yourself. But yeah, that's special, man. And that's, it's so simple, it's almost cliche, but it's the
Yep.
truth, right?
And like even in life, like maybe it's not even a day, maybe it's an hour, maybe it's you're in the gym and you got 5 more reps, maybe you go 1 rep at a time until you get there, or sometimes you just gotta break it up,
Yeah, you just got to get
and
it
have
done.
those little wins. They stack and they multiply on each other for real. Like
So
it's
you've been listening to my podcast episodes or
it's
something?
crazy, bro. It's crazy how I my mindset did. I don't even know when my mindset changed. You know what I'm saying? But it's just those little wins every day that add up. You're like,
Right.
okay, I'm better than I was yesterday. And sometimes you can't get 100%. Maybe your 100% some days is only 50% of your max capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Today I was working out with a friend and he's like, I'm not like, you're not going hard, are you? I was like, dude, I've been going hard all week. I'm here to have fun with you, and realistically. So I'm gonna go nice and easy and have some fun.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to go 100% all the time. So
Yeah. And that's, you still get a good workout in, even if you don't go balls to the walls every time. And that's another thing that probably running has taught me too, is when you're running zone 2, you're not going fast at all, but you're still getting a really good workout in, and you're
yeah.
improving your health and your endurance. So
Hmm.
there's different ways to look at it for sure. All right, so let's get into family. I know family's big for you. I know family's been big. Your family, Tyler, has been big into fitness for a very long time. I know that your mom and your dad have gone to CrossFit classes as well, and I know that you're also just really big into being with family. I've been around Tyler's family for a while now. I would go down to the lake with them. That's something that we also share in common. Camp with them, and they're a great family, and they're so fun to be around. And I know that they're just a very tight knit group. You guys all are. So that's
Hmm.
why I wanted to put this in here. And what does family mean to you, just in general?
I think it's the most important thing in life other than uh, faith, to be honest. Like I love my friends, you know, that I love
Yeah.
spending time with my friends and um, or even coworkers or any just people that you aren't related to, right? Those people are awesome, but they will never be. You can never get family. Like the people that you're born with, you'll never get new ones of those. So
Right.
I think um, I don't know. I think just the way I was raised is a lot. I don't think it's special by any means, but I think growing up with two different families, um, one where faith family and our number one priorities, and then in my other family, those aren't priorities. And um, seeing two different perspectives on that has, I think, really set me on a course in life where sometimes you learn from things you don't want better than things that you do want, right? Does
Yeah.
that make sense? Um, and both of my families are awesome. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying bad things about my family, but um, I think that like uh, my stepdad's family, they always prioritize family time, right? So like we always go out to the lake together. No one's missing that trip, right? And
Yeah.
um, or family gatherings, Christmas or Thanksgiving or Easter, things like that. And those are pretty normal in families, right? But I think showing up and making sure that I'm a big hugger. You know
Yeah.
that.
You are.
Um, like I'm not gonna leave a family function or like I went and got dinner with my family tonight. I'm gonna see them tomorrow morning for church, but I made a point to make sure that I told them I love them and I gave them a hug because tomorrow's not guaranteed. I could be driving to church tomorrow and get in a car accident, God
Yeah.
forbid, and die. And could be my last interaction with my little sisters, you know? So like I'm gonna make sure that they know that I love them. And um also like my some of my sisters I don't get to see every day. So I have five sisters in total, three of which I don't live with, and then also a younger brother that I don't live with or grew up with. So like the oldest one, I am always on the phone with her, texting her. She's texting me, and like most of the time it's small talk, but it's like it doesn't even matter because like when the hard things come, she knows she can text me about
Right.
anything, right? Or call me even. Um, it's like just those are the built-in people in your life, and you need to make sure that you take care of them, right? Like
Right.
I think you're the same way as me. Like as a man, those people I need to make sure that are good. You know, I'm going to take care of them. So, and yeah.
Yeah. We as men, we kind of have this like almost overwhelming responsibility or
Hmm.
overwhelming feeling to take care of all the people around us,
Hmm.
our parents. I have one sibling who's older than me, but still, even I still feel that. I also have a girlfriend who's basically my family now, and then now it stretches off onto her family as well.
Hmm.
So we just have that feeling, and I've seen this man in action before. He's a great older brother and a great man in his family. So I know that
Appreciate that.
you're always there to take care of them. But uh, what role has your family played in supporting your transformation physically, mentally, and even spiritually? I know we'll talk about faith next, but I know that your family has always had a lot of faith, always, went to church and been religious per se.
Hmm.
And I know that you have as well, but you might have lost it a little bit and now you've kind of really came back to it. So
Hmm.
how have they helped in all of those areas?
Well, I think my mom, so I'd say my dad first got me into the gym. I'd say probably around freshman year of high school, maybe eighth grade. We used to go to any time together, and that was a lot of fun. And like he did teach me a lot of things, but I was never serious about it. You know, sort of like you can lead the horse to water, but you can't make the horse drink the water. You know,
Yeah. I love that
and
saying.
yeah, so and he was very strong for um his age and stuff. So like obviously what he was doing was working.
He's a big
And
dude.
then
He's very,
yeah,
yeah, he's jacked.
very very strong. Um, and then my mom started getting me into CrossFit. That was definitely after my sophomore year season of football because I got a or no, was it? It was after sophomore track season. So I tore both my hip flexors, and I was trying to find a way to make because my hips kept on cramping and I couldn't move. And so like my mom's like, "Oh, try this thing called CrossFit." So I started doing that, and it actually did help my hips a lot. I remember the first workout that I did, I couldn't even, I think it was deadlifts, and I did like 10-pound deadlifts with a kettlebell, and it hurt me bad.
Jeez, that's
Just because
crazy.
my hips were so messed up, and like Bobby, he's one of the owners at the gym. He like took it as his mission to like make sure that I got through that. So shout out to him. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, like same thing though, man. Like they showed me something really cool and I didn't do anything with it. So they and even since I moved out of the house now, my family has come a long way. Like my dad, oh, he
Yeah,
talks about you and your pod or your videos quite often, and
I love to
he's
hear
like
that.
he's all about like seed oils now, and oh,
Let's
dude,
go.
it's awesome, dude. Like
Get that out of the
I
house.
love it, I love it.
Shout out
Um,
Scott.
all about the whole foods and things like that. So um, he's trying to get me on this. I'd like to take my hydro salt stuff from Podium. That has all the fake crap in it that you tell me about, right? But
Yeah. Yeah, you
but
know about it. You just do it
he
anyways.
it's a CrossFit thing, man. It's I don't know.
Yeah.
I could work it off, you know.
You guys sweat it out. Yeah, you guys
Sweat it
sweat it
out.
out too much.
Um, yeah, I think that's maybe one problem with CrossFit is our mentality is sort of whack on some things. Um, but like they've always been super supportive and um like I don't think I've ever told my parents something where like if I really wanted to do it, they didn't support me. So um like when I told my dad I was gonna move up to Des Moines and become a CrossFit coach, I don't know if I don't think he was excited about it. You know, he was like, well,
Yeah.
aren't you gonna find a job that you are gonna use your degree in and whatever? And I was like, no, I don't think so. I think this is what I want to do. And he's like, cool, then I know you're gonna do it well. You know, so like I think that's super cool, and they're always super supportive of me. So
Yeah.
yeah.
They really are though. I've seen
Hmm.
it firsthand as well. Just
And
yeah.
when I do wrong, when I mess up, they let me know too.
Yeah.
So you know, I do support.
I've also
That's
seen that
also part of the
firsthand.
support. So just yeah, that's an important thing. Don't have people around you that only tell you the good things.
Yeah.
Have you know, sometimes you need somebody to look you in your eye and say you're an idiot. You need to change.
And I think
Stop
that's
doing this
why
too.
family's so important too,
Hmm.
because they're always, most of the time, or at least they should be,
Yeah.
not just telling you the good things, but also the bad things
Yeah.
as well.
Hmm.
Speaking of that, though, has there ever been a moment like where your family has said something, whether that's positive or negative, or, some form of not negative, but tough love, I guess,
Hmm.
that has like really stuck with you and kind of just helped you push forward?
Yeah. My parents have always taught me to be like a hard worker and like be the hardest worker in the room, you know? Um, but I remember in college I was sort of going through it, and this was before my fitness journey. This is when my mindset was horrible
Yeah.
about things. Um, but I failed a couple of classes, and you remember this? I got put on probation for
Yeah.
academics.
Academic probation. I think we were
Yep,
both there at one point.
yep. I think I think it was the same semester. I think we're
Yeah, probably we pick our moments well.
um. But I remember talking to my dad, and I was super disappointed in myself, and I couldn't even hardly say it. You know, I got the lump in my throat, and I like Loki. I broke down and started crying, and I remember him looking at me, and he's like, "Well, this sucks, you know, but where do you go from here?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, like one thing my dad has always taught me, and my mom too, just he always says, think about the solution, not the problem.
Yeah.
I think we as especially Americans, I can't speak for the rest of the world because I don't have the same mindset as them, but I think that we um, we like to talk about our problems,
Yeah.
and we like to go to therapy. We like to, talking about our problems makes us feel better.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't need to think about the problem. You just need to think about how do I get rid of the problem
Yeah. How
instead
do I
of
find a
manifesting.
solution? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because talking about how hard something is or how it's not fun or how much you hate it is not going to do you any good,
Yeah.
really. So,
I agree with you on that too, because yeah, I'll just be forward about it, but I'm not a big fan of therapy in general, never have been. I have people around me that use it, and it seems to work for them, but and that's
mhm,
fine. But my opinion is if you just talk about something over and over and over and over, you never can move on from it. You can never
yeah,
find a solution for it. I think, and I'm sure you'd agree, Tyler, the only thing that you can do is take action
mhm,
and either find a solution or fail trying until you find a solution,
yeah. And
because
every
that's usually how it
failure
works.
gets you closer to the answer.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's how it is in everything in life.
Yeah, you could be one failure from success.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
So, yeah,
That's so crazy.
it is
Uh,
wild.
um,
But
so how do your values like around your family influence like the decisions that you make? Um, Especially since you play like so many roles. You're a big brother to multiple siblings. You're a CrossFit coach. You're a mentor, probably in some people's eyes. And then you're a big advocate for faith as well. I know that you're kind of working with a church right now, just kind of helping them out. So you're another person that some people are looking up to over there.
mhm. When it comes to my family, um, I want my parents to be like proud of who I am. You know, I don't want to be someone that they're like, I don't want them to regret something. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, I want to be a good person for them and I want to be able to set a good example for my younger siblings. Like, sometimes my younger siblings set a better example than for me. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it can work both ways. Like,
yeah,
my oldest sister, um, she is 18, 19. She's 19, and she teaches me stuff all the time, you know, like about patience and about faith. And I'm like, it sort of annoys me sometimes.
yeah. Like I'm supposed to
But
be teaching you.
yeah, I want to teach you, but it works both ways. So, um, yeah, I just want to. Oh, I have a thing, and I can't. We're doing the podcast on my phone, but I have I think 3 or 4 months ago, I was sort of just going through it, and I was put in my notes as it's like reasons for the grind, or something like that. And I was like, I had a whole bunch of bullet points and just reasons of why I do what I do. And one of them is to be the best person for my God and to be the best person for my family. And I just want to be someone that, you know, like I hope my sister's like, yeah, my brother Tyler, he's a great guy. I love him so much, and I don't want like I don't want them to be like, oh yeah, that's not my brother. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's easier because some of my siblings have different names than me, so different last names. So it'd be easy for them to do that. But
That's
um,
true.
like I just want to be someone that they're proud of. So
Yeah.
I don't
No,
think pride's a great thing all the time, but I think being proud of your people is good,
Yeah.
right? So
Especially like, they raised you, right? So they
mhm.
you want them to feel like they were able to do right by you. And
Yeah, I'm a reflection of them, right? So
right, yeah. Yeah. And I always think too, like, I want to, for me, I want my parents to not have to worry about me. They
mhm.
know, Tucker's off doing his thing. He's got this going
Yep.
on. He's got that going on. He's doing fine. I just want them to not have that stress and that burden of
Mhm.
worriment, like what some parents do have
Yep.
for some children. So that's what I think, and I'm sure
Mhm.
that you would agree with that too.
Yeah, there was definitely a point in my life where my mom was probably up all night worried sick about me. And
Yeah,
I don't ever I don't want to put her through that stress ever again, So
yeah.
um yeah.
I was probably with you,
Yep, me and you were together probably, so
probably. All right. What's one lesson that you've learned from your family that you want to pass down either to your future family, or it could be everyone that's around you right now, or for the people listening today?
Number one, faith for sure. Um and then but specifically like not force it on them though. Like I want my
Right.
kids to choose faith. So like I'll make them go to church until they're 18 and then after that they can choose from there, but like I don't want to be like I want them to make the choice themselves. I think
Right.
a lot of people they were forced to do it and so they have hatred for it. You know, um, I don't know how to explain that further, but I just want them to choose, right? I want them to choose what's right. Um, and I want them to learn that it's real for themselves. Because I think when you force something upon someone, they are they're definitely less open, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I think for someone that hasn't ever felt the Holy Spirit, and when you feel it for the first time, it's crazy and it's
Yeah.
overwhelming and it's emotional and it's cool,
Yeah.
So um, I think if I could pass that, that's number one. And then another thing I've always admired about my family is just like we work together and then we can do fun stuff together too. Like growing up, like we would be chopping before the 4th of July, you know, a month beforehand. Me and all my cousins are out there chopping wood for a whole ass day.
Yeah.
You know, we hated it, but we knew we had to go chop the wood if we wanted a bonfire at the campground, right? So
Yeah.
like you do the hard work and then you get rewarded for it later. So or like family projects if like when we built our garage, like all my family was out there helping, my aunts, uncles, cousins, and then same thing with them. Like if they need their basement floor, concrete floor poured, you know, we're over there doing it. Um, that's always been really something cool that I thought. And then the last thing is sort of less serious, but the lake.
Yeah.
um,
I'm with you there, buddy.
I think it's in some families it's not the lake. Maybe it's going skiing in Colorado or whatever family trip is. I think those family trips are important. Um, some families like to go to Disney World or some crazy expensive thing like that. Me, I want to spend a lot of money on a boat, and then that's my vacation. Is
Yeah.
taking that bad boy out, and,
Yeah.
pulling the kids on the skis and seeing my nieces and nephews play with them. Like that's what I imagine you and your family down there. Our kids growing up together. That's what I imagine. That's life.
Yeah.
You know, so.
That's gonna be a special moment because you know that we have that in common for sure. Like whether
Mhm.
that be, you know, I probably won't be around here, but whether that
Mhm.
be me coming from the Ozarks to Raffin for a weekend to see you and maybe camp out with you guys and have our families be together, or
Mhm.
having your family come down to the Ozarks, hopefully, and we're down there and doing that thing. But yeah, I'm definitely with you there. And I will say that, you know, when you talk about how close your family is, like you guys are out there chopping wood so you can have that bonfire, or everybody's helping build that garage. That's something that I've always admired, just being around your entire family, because you know, while I'm close with my mom's brother, my uncle and aunt, but they live in Minnesota, so they're not, you know, around all the time. And then the uncles and aunts that I do have on my dad's side, I don't know all that well. So that's something that I was never really around. So when I came down to the lake with you, that was always something special to see. I remember the first time eating, we woke up from the camper. So me, Tyler, and then a couple other buddies stayed in like our own camper. And he's like, hey, we're going to breakfast. And I was like, what do you mean, dude? We're just gonna fry up some bacon over the fire. What do you mean? He's like, no, dude, we all go to my grandparents' camper and we sit around in a circle and they make breakfast and we all eat breakfast and we just sit there and we talk. And I think that's so special, dude, because a lot of families don't do that anymore. No. And that's really cool to see. And I think that's a really cool tradition that you guys have down there. So
yeah, I'll definitely be passing that down to my kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. All right, let's move on to faith. I specifically put faith last because I think it's the most important. I also think there's a lot that I can learn from you, Tyler, because you've been around faith longer than I have, and I'm still not all the way where I want to be in it. And I'm still growing in my faith per se, and it's super important to me, as I know it is for you. But how important is faith to you?
I'd say it's the most important thing. You know, like where you go for answers when you're confused says a lot about you, I think. And like I've noticed over, especially since my fitness journey, I think that's drawn me closer to God, and it's brought my faith up a lot more because like when I'm going, like there's some workouts where I'm like on the floor and I'm dead and I don't think I can go on, and I will pray just like, hey God, I'm dead right now. Please help me out. You know, like
Please help me push through this.
Please help me finish this thing. You know, like that sounds silly, but like it gets me through. You know, and like when you know, like when in my old mindset, I would have, you know, if I would have faced something hard, I would have went straight to, you know, going out and partying all night long, or you know, getting high, or you know, whatever it might be,
or vaping even too,
or vaping, or if I had stress, you know, just feel better, you know, right? And now like I find myself praying and you know, or reaching out to a friend or my family, like my mom, like I call like in the last 6 months, especially the last couple months, I've learned like if I'm going through something hard, it's okay to pick up and call mom. You know, like, hey mom, I'm going through it. What's up? You know?
Yeah.
And I don't even really got to talk to like what's going wrong with me. It doesn't have to be like that. It's just like, hey, finding, you know, talking to someone that I know cares about me and that sort of grounds me, you know. So, I think it's the most important thing. Because I really don't get how people go through life believing that there isn't a God. Like why, how are we here? Why are we here? My my sense of purpose doesn't come from working out, you know. That it's cool, it's awesome, I love it, but like, or my job, my identity does not come from my job or what I do for a living, um, or what I do for fun, or my identity should be I'm here to spread the word of God, essentially, and it's hard.
Yeah,
it's really hard.
I'm with you, dude. I've found that like lately, like it's hard for me to understand how to do it without pushing it
Yep.
towards people. And the other thing is it's hard because there's so many people that are not as tapped into their faith as they probably should be, especially
Mm-hmm.
like in work environments, or if you're just going out into a public setting, and
Mm-hmm.
that's their choice. That's the way that they choose to live. But it's also our duty as Christians and as believers of God to try and help them, guide them to that water, right? But like you
Mm-hmm.
said earlier, we can't force anyone to drink the water. So
Yep. And it's really, it's a very, in the sense, like, if you were to go up to a fat person, and tell them, hey, you're fat, you need to work out, that's demoralizing, right? But if you were to go to and tell someone, hey, you need to believe in God or you're going to go to hell, that's a lot worse,
yeah,
you know? Um, and it's should be a lot scarier. It should be very scary.
yeah,
Um, and it's hard for me to even fathom that one day people that I love, I won't be able to spend the rest of my life or eternity with because they will refuse to believe in God.
yeah.
And that's sad,
It's
you know.
really scary, like you said.
It's very, very scary. And yeah, I don't get it. It's just weird to me. Um,
Yeah,
even when throughout the times, like I feel like I've always had some level of faith, you know? Like I've definitely dipped down bad and had zero to none, but that's something that's always sort of it made me like my skin crawl, and it should, right?
yeah.
Um, I don't know, just scary.
I think that's something that I've realized lately, like probably within the past month. Like, you should be scared of God. Like, it should
Hmm.
terrify you that, like, you will face him
Hmm.
someday. You will be judged by him, like,
Hmm.
based off the life that you live. And that should scare you, because that it should scare you, but also drive you to do what you're put here to do on earth, to
Hmm.
spread the word of God and chase your purpose. That's really the only two things that you're really put here to do, and whatever your purpose may be, right?
Hmm.
um but yeah, I've been like going throughout my day, I'm like, I'm like, shit, man, I'm scared.
Yeah,
I
it
made a
is.
curse during the faith subject, but man, it scares me, man.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh.
it's very scary, and uh, yeah, I yeah, I don't have anything
But
else to say about it.
and
It's just
I don't
super
want to end
scary.
it on that either too. Like, it's a beautiful thing to
Yeah.
grow in your faith too. And God is so grace, he gives us a ton of grace, helps us through so many situations that we don't even see. So it's not like, I don't want to spread a negative message about God, right? Being
Yeah.
scared of him.
Yeah.
But it's just something that everybody should know too.
Hmm. Yep. It's
All
just,
right.
yeah, I get what you mean.
So I have a few quotes here that I've just pulled from some stuff that I've heard, some stuff that I've listened to, and I just want to say it. I'll say it, and then I want to just get your thoughts on it as well.
Hmm.
So the first one is, the reason that God is not giving you the life that you want is because you don't appreciate the life you have, and he knows that you won't appreciate it if he gives it to you.
I want to be careful from quotes from people just because they might not be biblical. But I think with that one, um, I think we as humans sometimes don't know what we truly want or what we truly need, to be honest.
Right.
Not want, need. Um, and sometimes the things that we want aren't going to glorify him. So he'll either let us have it for a certain amount of time until he rips it from us, or he won't let us have it, right? So
Right.
I think, like, say your purpose, or you like to make content, right? Maybe your purpose is to make content, but you're doing it in a way that is not glorifying him. He might make it really hard for you. You know, he's
Right.
you maybe you aren't blowing up like you would like, or not getting as many views as you'd like, or something like that. But maybe if you're, opening with a Bible verse, or even just talking about God, or doing anything that does glorify him, he's gonna make it a lot easier for you, right? So, and like it's sort of weird to put it like that, I guess, but I feel like if you're truly faithful to him, he'll make you go on a path that's going to glorify him,
Yeah.
and it'll make you realize what you truly need instead of rather what you want, right?
Yeah. And you'll find more peace. That's, that's the main, that's my
Hmm.
main mission. And all of this is to find, my peace and to be, just happy with, not happy, I guess, but, I don't know how to put it. Just in a place in life where I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Hmm.
I guess that's what I mean. Like, and if that doesn't involve, a lot of things that I want, that I want a lot of things. And I know that
Yeah.
you're the same way.
Hmm.
I want
I
a
like
bit.
nice things.
Yeah, I like nice things.
I like nice
Everybody
things.
does. But I would rather take the peace, knowing that my soul is saved by God, and being in a spot where I know that I'm supposed to be, over anything that I could possibly want. So
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah, that and just to mention, by the way, these are not biblical as well. These next two quotes, these are just like other people's perspectives of what they think God and faith are. The next one is, God let it hurt because pain was the only way you'd move. I love that, dude.
This one hits home for
Yeah,
me.
that's why I threw it in here. I was like, dude, this is he's gonna love this.
Yeah. So, can you repeat it one more time for me, just
Yeah,
so I can hear it again?
God let it hurt because pain was the only way you'd move.
So, for me as a person, I'm very loyal to if I have loyalty to something, I will stick with it till it absolutely kills me. Like in life recently, I have learned that I don't when people say that God won't give you more than you can handle, that is an absolute lie. He, especially if you ask for, like when I pray, I ask, I want to be the hardest worker in the room. Please allow me to be like that. Allow me to be that person. And I want to be someone that other people look up to. I want to be the hardest person in the room. Like
Yeah,
that's what I ask for. So when things come and it's like, holy moly, how do I get out of this? Um, Thinking back on that prayer makes you, in that moment, makes you angry.
because you asked for it.
Yeah, you
You asked for this to happen. Yeah,
straight up asked for it, man.
yeah,
And um, God gives us things that we can't handle, because if we could get through life easily without Him, there's no need for Him, right?
yeah,
If we went through life and everything's perfect and it's fun and great and dandy, like you know, cozy, what's the point in believing in God, right? Because we're just gonna die and then nothing. It doesn't matter, right? We're just blank space or whatever people think. Um, He's gonna give you more than you can handle, so you turn to Him and ask Him what He needs from you, you know,
yeah,
and He'll let you know.
yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's
And I always, when I do my prayers, most of the time I'll ask for, or I don't ask, but I say, God, give me more. If I go through a day where I'm really stressed, like, I get up, do all my stuff in the morning, go to work, get off work late, then I gotta go to the gym, and then I gotta come home. I gotta script write. I gotta edit a podcast. I gotta do my short form content. I gotta this, that, everything. You know, I gotta be present with my girlfriend, take my dog out,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that may be. That night, you know, I say, God, just give me more. Give me
Yep.
more. I'm willing to take on more and you know, help me do your work that you want me to do, because he tests all of us, bro. And you know that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a test, you know, like, you ask for more, here's more for you. What are you gonna do about it?
Yep.
Are you gonna lie down and roll over and be depressed about it? Or are you gonna get up, take action and get it done and do what you told me that you're gonna do?
Yep.
And that's how I like to look at it. And you hit on it, you know, perfectly. But it just, like you said, it's crazy that, you know, he's not necessarily punishing us, but he is giving us what we asked for.
Exactly.
Like, we need to all realize that.
Yeah. You can't become the strongest person in the room by lifting small weights.
Yeah. Nope.
You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get strong by lifting 5 pound dumbbells every day.
Yeah.
It's you gotta progressively add more, right? So it's
You gotta
just
jump into the fear.
yeah, it's crazy. And then it's so weird just the realization of that when you have that happen, when you think you got everything figured out and things just do a 180 and you're like,
Nope.
how or like, you know, you don't just like, oh, okay, that's fine. You don't, that's not how you respond. You like shook up and don't know what to do. And it's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Life is crazy. So,
All right. I got one more quote here for you. This is also, I love this one as well. Sometimes God destroys your plans because he sees that those plans are going to destroy you.
hmm
You think about that? Like, you kind of touched on this too, about like your wants versus your needs.
yeah,
But
I think that if we're making plans that aren't fulfilling to his plan for us, our human desires will take over and inherently they're evil, you know?
yeah,
Um, and yeah, you could be going through life thinking that you're doing right and what you're meant to do, and then look back 6 months later and be on a total different trajectory and be like, why did I think that was right for my life? You know,
yeah,
it's sort of like working out. Like now that I'm fit, I'm like, why was I fat?
yeah,
You know, but I'm also thankful for being that person because that
yeah,
made me be like, I hate saying, oh, I wish I would have worked out sooner because I wouldn't be who I am, right? I had to hit that bottom place. And that bottom gets lower every time you hit it. People think it gets higher.
no,
No, it gets harder. And yeah, I think the other thing, I think the correlation between fitness and like just faith is it's crazy strong. They go hand in hand, right? Um, because to be honest, if faith was easy, everyone would be doing it.
yep,
You know, if if you went out and told everyone, hey, if you do this set list of things, if you go out and drink a milkshake and drink a pop and then go over and eat a burger every day, you'll make it to heaven. You bet your butt I'm drinking a milkshake, drinking a pop, and having a burger every day.
yeah.
You know, because it's
You'd see me
easy. So,
there.
you know
See
what I'm
me
saying?
there.
So, but if I tell you, okay, you can't be drinking every day. You can't be, I'm not saying I like to drink still. I like to have fun every once in a while. You know that. I think everything in moderation is key. Um, but we live in a society where all these sayings are glamorized, right? Um, Sex appeal, it's normal to watch porn, which is crazy to me. I
Yeah,
don't I haven't watched porn in over a year and a half. I can honestly say that. And I have felt a mental change in my head. Like, um, it's just different, right? Like, that shit is not good for your brain at
Yeah.
all. Like,
Yeah.
and there's a whole, like, you know, with food, like nutrition, like we're told all these things are great for us and they're not, So it's just, it all relates to each other. So
Yeah.
it's just crazy.
You could even throw like participation trophies in there as well. My kids will never grow up this way, but glamorizing that it's okay to grow up like that with participation trophies and learning that failure is bad and all of this stuff, is just, it's not the real world. It's not how it works.
Yeah.
And it's a sad,
That's why we have all these depressed people walking around.
yeah, or
Because,
people that don't even know what are going on. Like,
yeah.
it's crazy.
And like, because they're taught that, like, oh, when you lose, it's okay. It's not okay. It's like, it's okay because you learn from it, right?
Yeah.
And then the next attempt, like, I don't even want to say it because losing is okay. I'll say that. That's fine because you will learn from it.
Yeah.
Every loss takes you closer to a win, right? So,
Yeah. But celebrating a
but
loss is where the line
yeah,
gets drawn. You know what I mean?
and
That's
like,
what yeah.
yo, you did a good job because you participated. That is wrong.
Yeah. Like,
Um, yeah, I don't agree in that at all.
yeah. In life, there's winners and there's losers, and that's how it is. One person wins, one person loses, and guess what? The person that loses, they might be the next one that wins, and
Mm,
that's what I think everybody should strive to do that. And it's like that in everything. It's like that in being a CrossFit coach and coaching your clients and coaching your class. It's like that just in plain old fitness. It's like that in
mhm.
sales, which is the career that I'm in. Sports, it could be anything, and
Yep.
that is just the way of life. And the sooner that people understand that, the sooner that they'll be able to move forward,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
More things are black and white than people realize. They think
Yeah,
there's this gray area.
there ain't no color wheel around here.
No. And it's just like you could relate it to faith. Like, if you don't believe in God, you go to hell. There's no gray area.
Yeah,
Oh, you maybe thought God was okay for a couple of days here and there. Oh, oh yeah, you can go to heaven. No, that's not how it works. Like, yeah, my kids will not learn that way either.
yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
It's all about that.
But
And I will say too that you had mentioned a little bit ago that faith is super hard. And I want to challenge everyone that's listening right now. If you are not into faith, or you are looking to get into faith, or if you don't think that faith is hard, I challenge you to go read the Bible. Go read the Old Testament and
mhm.
try to decipher what they are trying to say, and you will understand how hard it is
Yep.
to learn the word of God. And I'm reading through the Old Testament right now. I've been doing that for the past year and a half, 2 years, and it's so hard. It's like one of the
It's
hardest things I've ever done.
it's super hard. And the thing is you can relate it to so many different ways, and you can take the
Yeah.
same passage and go this way with it and go the opposite way with it and then do a 180 the other, you know. It's all about your perception,
Yeah.
really.
And
But
that's also a really cool thing though too,
mhm,
right? Like everybody gets their own perception of faith. But hopefully we can all kind of tie it back to one general meaning, but you get the chance to have your own perception of what it means to you. And I think that everyone can find their way to God through their own
mhm,
perception. They just have to be willing to listen.
yeah. I
Yeah.
also think in college I minored in religion. So I took a whole bunch of classes about the Bible, but they taught them in fact instead of teaching them like spiritually. And I really appreciated that just because um, a lot of these, so like everything in the Bible you can't disprove. So there's nothing in the Bible that you can pick out and be like, this did not happen, because there is proof that it happened,
That's
which is
crazy.
crazy to me. So like, if you don't believe in God, I challenge you to find something in the Bible and figure it out and say that it's wrong.
Yeah.
Because well, it's crazy. They've been trying to do it for 2,000 years. They can't do it.
Yeah.
So,
That's the beautiful thing about the book. The book.
hmm yeah,
But
very
so
wild.
Tyler, as I understand, you are or could be at least on your way to serving uh at a new church, like a brand new church out of Des Moines that's
hmm
just starting out. Can you kind of tell us how this opportunity came up? Because I know it was pretty recent that it came up.
So, it is actually crazy. So, one of my good friends asked me to go to this Bible study on a Sunday, and this was before I was even thinking about moving to Des Moines. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go to this Bible study with you, because I'd go up there every Sunday and work out with everyone and after church and hang out. And uh, so we get to this quote unquote Bible study, and it's the meeting of this church for the first time ever. So I we went and we met some really cool people, and one of the guys that I work out with, excuse me, he was there, and we just started explaining like, hey, we're starting this new church, and I was like, hey, this is great, but I live in Oskaloosa. There's no way I'm coming to your church, essentially, right?
Right.
Um, but like, I'd love to visit or whatever when I'm up here, and that's pretty much the end of it. So the next day, um, like I said, I'm not really ready to talk about it because I want to make my own videos about it. But I went
Yeah,
through
that's
some
fair.
stuff. And um, I was just having a really, really hard day. And it's just one of those days that, don't want to get out of bed kind of thing.
Right.
And this pastor texts me, uh, that's starting this church, and he's like, hey, Tyler, it's great to meet you. I'd love to get coffee sometime, catch up. And I sort of just told him what was going on, and I asked him to pray for me, and I was like, hey, I'm just trying to stay strong, right? Um, because I know that whatever's going on, I'm gonna get through it. But I know I need help doing it, because I'm not gonna be able to do it by myself. And uh, so then I ended up getting a job in Des Moines the next week after that. And so now I'm on my track to moving up there. And Ben is the name of the pastor. And he texts me again out of the blue. And he's like, hey, how are you doing? You want to get coffee? And I was like, great. I'm already up in Des Moines. Let's do it. And so he asked me to be a part of their launch team. And um, there's a lot of opportunities there, um, that I could help out with. And I sort of we just sat down, and I really, I've, I've met this guy one time before this, and I talked to him for a total of 5 minutes of my life. And like, I remember like sitting out in the parking lot, and I was nervous, right? And I sort of I told God, I was like, you know, don't let me hold anything back. Just, be honest with this guy, right? And so I literally told him my whole life story, like everything.
Yeah.
Started just poured it out to him, and he was just like, I just let him know how really broken I was, right? Throughout life, and told him about my struggles, and he asked me how I came to faith, and um, just a lot of really hard questions, right? Um, and that resulted in him asking me to be part of the launch team, and um, maybe taking up some kind of role to help him out open this place. So I don't know what my role is going to be yet, but I know that right now I'm sort of in this lull of getting my stuff moved. But as soon as I'm like fully moved in Des Moines, man, I'm jumping the ground, like I'm hitting the ground and running. Like I think this would be so cool to like I've opened up businesses and things like that, but I've helped open up two businesses, but the church is sort of like a business essentially, right? But
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I'm just super excited to see what this entails, and I don't know, I remember as soon as I got out of this meeting with Ben, I was I was fine, right? Like at this point, like I hadn't really broke down at all and going through these troubles that I was dealing with, and I got in my car and this thing sort of like essentially probably the Holy Spirit washed over me, and I felt calm, and I knew everything that I went through was for a reason, and this is
Right.
part of the reason. Like I am meant to be here. This is because there's so much doubt, right? Like you're always going to be doubting yourself. There's always going to be that little voice in your head that's like, you can't do this. What are you doing? You don't have a plan, like whatever it might be, whatever it's saying to you. But at this point, I just felt this sense of calmness. I was like, I know this is where I'm supposed to be. And that was super encouraging. Um, and I called my mom and I was fine, right? I was super joyous, and like I went to go tell my mom and I started crying like a little baby, dude. Like I couldn't get the words out. And I was like, Mom, I'm gonna start a new church or I'm gonna help build this church or whatever. And my mom started crying, and I don't know, man, it was super powerful. And like that's the moment in my recent life that I've realized like whatever we're going through is gonna be okay. Like what whatever I'm going through, there's a lot of other people going through a lot worse, right?
Yeah.
So, um, and not that's good or bad, or it's just what it is. But
Yeah. And
um,
that's a hard thing for all of us to understand is, everybody has their problems, right? Like you just
mhm,
said, and there's always someone that's doing worse though.
yep,
And if you can start to look at life that way, you can start to realize that you can overcome all the problems that you're facing,
yeah,
no matter what it is. Like, and I hate to say this, but you could literally, like, you or a loved one could be going through some sort of, like, you could be going through cancer or something, but there could still be someone else that has it even worse than that. Like,
hmm,
they could be paralyzed, which, you could compare those depending on what is worse, or it could be, I don't even know
hmm,
what an example would be, but um, there's always something that is worse.
yeah,
So having that mindset is super critical when you're trying to overcome those obstacles.
hmm. I think like it's sort of like sinning to me, like not one sin is worse than another sin. It's a sin. Like
Right.
if you have any sins, you can't go to heaven, right? So, um, there's no room for imperfection. So, uh, it's just like that. Like we all have our own struggles. No one's struggle is worse than another person's. But like in our in our brain, it's easier to comprehend. Like okay, like when I'm like going through it, I'm like okay, I'm a wuss. I need to pick myself up on my bootstraps. If I don't think I can get through this, then I'll pray about it, and
Yeah.
then I'm still gonna get through it. So like, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like, it's just weird, man.
And I just want to
What's
say
up?
too that neither me nor Tyler think we are perfect just
No,
because the Bible says that, Jesus did die for our
far from
sins,
it.
and that's why we're all actually have this written here, but we as humans, faith is a constant struggle for us because we're all sinners by nature. Just how
Hmm.
we were created, but we were also created to realize that and try our best not to sin,
Yeah,
right? And I think that that's very important to note. But what is this might be a tough one. What is one thing about your spiritual journey that most people wouldn't expect or understand?
I think a lot of people could relate to it, but they just don't know that they could, right? With the whole like putting on a front, right? Um, I think it's important, especially as us as Christians, to admit when we're wrong. Um, because I feel like, especially in today's age, with um, I don't want to try to get too controversial here, but with some groups of people, they feel like Christians are very judgmental, even, or uh, that we think that we're better than them.
Yep.
And I don't think that is the case at all. I think that some people definitely, maybe some people do say that or think that, um, but I don't think that they are. Yeah, they haven't come to that realization that sin, it doesn't matter what sin it is, right? Um, that someone's committing, everyone sins, and everyone needs Jesus to be the best person that they can be and live for Him. But there's always just this stigma around Christians that people think that they think they're better than everyone else, which is not true. If you're actually a Christian, you know that everyone has their own sins, and that doesn't make it okay,
Yeah.
you know. But like, I wish people would just realize that we all are one species, and we can help each other out. You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
it
We
doesn't
don't have
have
to
to
be
be.
divided all the time.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, man. It's actually crazy. Like, I always think like the Palestinian Israel conflict, like deep down their roots are the same. You know, they think the same things. You know, they just call their God two different names,
Right.
and they're eternally fighting.
Yeah.
You know, still like, it's just, I don't know, man. It's crazy.
And I'll say
I
it
wish there's
too.
less hatred.
Yeah. And I always try to say that when it comes to there is certain people that are religious that will act a way of being judgmental.
Hmm.
There's always going to be bad apples of the group, bad apples on the tree, whatever you want to say there. But
Yep.
um, another thing is that bothers me sometimes because there's a lot of different ways to be religious. You have like you're just your Christians, or you have your Catholics, your Lutherans. There's different. I don't even know what it would be called, but there's
Like you're
different sections.
different. I can't think of the actual word, but like demographics of Christianity, sort of.
Right, right,
Yeah.
and that's something that I struggle with the most. My girlfriend is Catholic, and sometimes we go back and forth about that a little bit, but in the end, we both want the same thing for
Hmm.
us right now and for our future family.
Hmm.
But it's just hard for me to wrap my brain around because although there's so much stigma that comes in, or that people think about just Christians in general, there's a lot of stigma as well between Christians, between those
Hmm.
certain demographics. And it's it's hard for me to just be like, yeah, I identify as this, but I really just, I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I believe in the word of God, and I believe in following that and trying to do
Hmm.
the best that I can every single day to, support his word and what he wants me to do and to be the best person I can be. So it's hard for me to go to certain services like that where it's not following, what I believe.
Hmm.
And I wish that it was all this, we all have the same belief. We all want the same things,
Hmm.
but it's not that way. And Yeah, it's hard for me to wrap my head around that. But what is kind of your thought on all those different ones?
I'd say all of them are good, right? Um, any type of Christianity is good in my eyes. I mean, there's some weird offshoots, like I think voodoo is actually considered a type of Christianity. Um, but uh, like what I believe, I think whatever is in the Bible is true.
Yeah,
Um, and then like as as far as it goes, is like Catholicism versus so there's two main branches of Christianity. There's Catholicism, which is Catholics, and then the Reformed, um, or not Reformed. Can't think of the word right now.
it's
Anyways,
not it's not like
after
non-denominational, is it?
no, so pretty much there's Catholics, and then there's all of the other churches branches that split off from Catholics.
Oh, okay.
So that could be like Lutheran, non-denominational, which is probably like what you'd call the church that I'm starting up. It's a non-denominational because like they're not gonna say that they're Lutheran or like I used to go to a Reformed church, so like they are like from the Bible, but they like pretty much it's just like people throughout history that thought like, hey, we could teach it in this sort of manner.
Right.
So um like Catholicism is very and I don't want to say this in like a bad way. They're just very ritualistic, right?
Yeah.
So like that's not a bad thing, right? It's just a thing. But they like they kneel during their services or they stand up. Like there's like a script almost of like this is how you do it. And every time we're gonna do it like this.
Yep.
Um, so like when I feel you, like I have a Catholic family, and so like when we have funerals or weddings, like I have no idea what is going on.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
but when they teach the word, like obviously that's correct. So like I don't know, like the whole like praying to Mary thing sort of throws me off. You know,
Yeah.
but like I don't know. Is it bad? No. I I don't it's just one of those things I don't know, right? Like
Yeah. Because I mean,
um
we didn't grow up in that sense, right?
yeah, exactly. So um and I've never actually asked a Catholic believer like why they do that or um
You should talk to
some
Ryan. I've learned a lot from
yeah
her. Just her
I
family is especially her
mm,
great or her grandma was
hmm
very religious and big Catholic. Or she went to a Catholic church, so I've
I
learned a
love
lot.
having conversations about theology is how they say it. Theology is like how why you understand or how why you believe what you believe
Yeah.
sort of thing. And there's definitely some churches out there that have bad theology. So I do uh for people that are finding a new church or just starting to figure that out, I do encourage you to figure out what you believe first before seeking out. Because like that was my main concern for moving to Des Moines is finding a church that I believed to be saying the right things, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I went to a church and they're like, oh yeah, it's okay to I don't do something bad, but only on Saturdays. Like
Yeah. Only on Saturday
what?
nights.
Like yeah, exactly. So like um I don't know. There's just some weird things like that, but especially in today's world where everything's okay,
Yeah.
um, like a lot of people think that like if you're a good person, you're gonna get to heaven, and really that's not this case. So,
No, it's not.
um,
And I agree with you too. Like, because I've been looking for a church here, and it's so hard for me to to find one or make that
mhm,
decision because I kind of grew up and I did go to church with my family for a while, but some of the churches that we went to, like you have people pulling up in the nicest cars. You got people pulling up in the nicest suits. They got the nice watches on, like them thinking that, they're and showing off that they're successful and being prideful. Right. And you touched on that earlier, and showing up like that, thinking that just because they have those things and they're the way that they are, that's going to help them get to heaven more than it's going to help me. Who's over here maybe not dressed as well or didn't show up in a nicer car. And I think that's sometimes where Christians will get a bad rap too, is because, like I said, there are some bad apples out there, and finding the right church or a church that you can stand by is, I feel like that's super important. And that's like the decision that I've been trying to make. But I feel like you're the same way. And I feel like if this church that you're helping out with didn't have those values, that you probably wouldn't help them start what they're trying to accomplish.
That was like one of my main concerns. Like, I was like, hey, this is really cool. Sounds really awesome what you're doing, but like, what do you believe in? Because if they believed in some freaky stuff,
some freaky voodoo stuff.
Yeah, like I'm not. Yeah. But yeah, I've been growing up. I did not like church. I don't know if I ever told you that. I think until I went to a church where, your last name really mattered, and being part of my stepdad's family, I was like part of one of their like I was part of that family, but like I always felt like I was like the adopted kid, or like
an outsider almost.
Not that like my family would ever think about me like that, but like the people of the church, I always felt like sort of looked at me like that, and like I definitely felt like they judged my mom for like having me before they met my like that stuff's like always going through my head, and like it just felt like I never belonged, and like all the kids in Christian school, or like all the kids in Sunday school always went to the Christian school, so like in Sunday class they knew all the answers, and I always felt stupid, because I didn't know as much, or like just stuff like that where I never felt at home. And I used to have like low key a hatred for going to church. Like I hated it when I was a kid, and then I remember like my parents one day were just like, "Hey, I think we're gonna try to find a new church," and I was super excited. And then we started going to Federated in Pella, and it's a pretty big church, and I will admit that I have never really taken action there. You know what I'm saying? Like I go to church, and like, but I've never gotten super integrated into their like to what they're doing.
Yeah.
I love going to church there, but that's one thing that I have realized with like going into this next step of my faith, where I'm helping open up this, hopefully open up this church, right? That I'm like, dang, I was never really bought into this, right? So that's one thing that I've realized in my life that I need to do more of, like helping one Easter every year isn't good enough. you know?
Yeah.
And like it's just like part of growing up, you realize those things. Like I don't know. But like in finding it's the community is really important, you know. It's sort of like gym community, or finding like-minded people is really, really, really important. And yeah, it's good to put yourself into places where you don't know much either.
Yeah.
So like don't be scared. Don't be scared of that. If you're the dumbest person in the room, you're doing something good.
Yeah.
Right?
You should want to be
You should want to be the dumbest person.
the person in the room that doesn't know the answers and everyone else is shouting them out.
Yeah. And that's because you can learn from those people.
Yeah.
I said that to one of my family members the other day, and they're like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I was like, I literally, I can't remember who it was. Even if I did, I wouldn't say it. But I was like, we just don't have. They're like, I don't understand what you're saying. I said, we do not have the same mindset.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't understand. I was like, you won't, you can't, you're not capable of thinking that way until you develop it, you know?
Not yet, at least, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, if you're the smartest person in the room, find a different room
Yeah. That's where you
because
know that you got to venture out and grow a little
you've
bit more.
capped out. Yeah,
Yeah.
you've capped out.
You've gotten
You,
everything that you could possibly get from that room.
yep.
It's
Move
time
on
to
to the
move
next room.
on. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, man.
Love it.
We are going to, I want to talk about a Bible verse real quick. And I'm
Hmm.
going to just go through it and then we can kind of discuss it a little bit. So it's a little bit long, so bear with me here. It's going to be Matthew 12:37. And I'm going to talk about, I'm going to say the verse, but I'm also going to say how it was explained to me. I listened to a faith-based podcast. And when I heard it explained this way for the first time, it really helped me understand how God works. And I think that that's super powerful. So Matthew 12:37 states, by the fruit of your lips, you shall be justified. By the fruit of your lips, you shall be condemned. So, Tyler, do you know who God had named the animals?
Adam.
Yeah. So Adam named the animals, and it wasn't because God couldn't, but it's because he wanted to teach Adam that there is power in our tongue, so in the way that we speak. So when Adam named an animal, like a hippo, for example, God taught him, then so shall it be. If you say that that's a hippo, that is what it's going to be forever. So the same goes for us, right? So if we say that we are a sinner and nothing ever works out for us, I'm depressed, I'm lonely, I have anxiety, I'm giving those words and those feelings power over me and who I am. But if I sit here and I say, although that I've sinned, God has washed my sin, I can continuously move forward and meet him at the throne of grace, at the throne of mercy, then it provides us with a type of confidence to move forward and work on not making the same mistakes twice. And I feel like this is very, very important for everyone to understand because what we say, our heart is going to follow that as well. And there's just so much power in our tongues and the way that we speak to ourselves and when we speak openly to other people as well.
Yeah, I think what you tell yourself you can't do something, you're not going to do it, right?
Yeah.
It's um it's like the half cup, half full, half empty sort of thing.
Yep.
Um it's all about your mindset and just create like what we talked about earlier, just creating those small wins and building confidence is key to growth. So, like just telling yourself you can get through it and speaking it into existence is like I don't believe in like manifesting, right?
Right.
I don't think that's godly. But I think that like speaking truth to things, even I don't know how to word it correctly, but what you say to yourself matters. It's like what when people say what you say to others, or how you say it,
Yeah.
matters. It's totally true, but like they don't ever talk about how you talk to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think that if you tell yourself, if you wake up every day and say, example, I'm super depressed, nothing ever goes my way. I go to therapy, pay this guy hundreds of dollars a week to go talk to him. All I do is talk about my problems. I'm literally just putting energy into that. I'm just pumping it full.
Yep.
Like that's all I'm doing all the time is thinking about how sad I am or how bad my life is, um, or how easy it is for someone else. Like, I don't know. I sometimes I think to myself like, oh, like I have to work for everything that I have, right? And some people aren't that way.
Yeah.
And like I get frustrated because I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, I really wish I was just, I had it all and I didn't have to struggle. But like those people, I don't even know what they're struggling with, right? Like,
Right.
um, they're probably struggling with purpose, right? Like that, and that's just as bad with what I'm struggling with. So everyone just has their own um issues and struggles, and that's just like what we were talking about earlier. It's not thinking about this problem as finding the solution. And um, God will uplift your words. If you're praying to be the person He wants you to be, He will get you there. You
Yeah.
know, if you're actually genuine about it.
Yeah.
Because
And you have
there's
you
there's been times in my life where I'm like, yeah, Jesus is awesome. I love it. And then 2 days later, I'm exactly the same that I used to be. So, and then you fall off the bandwagon, right? It's just like going to the gym. It's being consistent and those small reps. Like I struggle with my language, right? I have a potty mouth. So like,
it's true.
instead of, replacing things, taking things out, um, it's like coaching, just like coaching, like rather than telling someone, if someone's looking to watch their weight, I'm not going to tell them, well, you need to eat this and this and this. I'm going to say, okay, what are you eating? Well, I'm drinking pop every meal and I'm eating a cheeseburger from McDonald's. Well, how about you stop drinking the pop, switch it out with water, keep on eating the cheeseburger for now,
Yeah.
you know? And just like, it's just like, you can relate to like anything like that. It's just those small wins and like slowly change, like just making improvements every day. Like if I say that bad word one less time every day, eventually I'm going to get to the point where it's not in my vocabulary anymore.
Right.
So,
And I'll say like with faith
um,
too, like, a lot of people think you have to put in so much time with faith, which can be important, but like,
mhm,
if you're really going through it someday and whatever may happen, just getting in a simple, 3 to 5 minute prayer,
mhm,
that's still a consistent action and that's still a small win in your faith that day as well.
mhm,
Um, and you're able to move forward. And then the next day, maybe you put in a little bit extra time. You really dig deep into your scripture and
mhm,
you really have maybe a longer prayer.
yeah,
That's something that I try to look at it like that as well too.
mhm. It's just like, yeah, just like anything else, just reps of something makes you better at it. And yeah, I encourage you. Like, it would be awesome if you could just jump in and be amazing at being a Christian, but
Yeah,
I
not
don't
not
think it
it.
really works like that. So,
Nope.
like I encourage people just pick that one thing, stick with it, do it consistently, move on to the next thing. Like right now, I've always struggled with reading my Bible. Um, but I just switched programming, and guess what? My new programming does. Every time I open it, it comes up with a Bible verse.
Nice.
So um, I really like it because it's one of the goats at CrossFit. But um, their whole organization is super faith based, and they're wildly successful in whatever they do. So, is there a correlation to that?
Probably.
Probably. You know.
And if you even think about just like, I mean, I encourage everyone listening, if you don't believe that, go and look at the people that you look up to the most and what is the number one thing, they're going to say one of two things. It's either going to be their health or their faith. That's going to be their number one thing when it comes to what's most important to them. But I would say 95% of the time it's going to be faith, and serving God. And what do athletes say? They say all glory to God, that I won this game or whatever. A lot of them will say that. So is there a correlation? I would assume that there probably is.
And like, I don't know. I was asked recently, like, how important like money is to me. Yeah, I want nice things, but like, I feel like my outlook on like wealth now is totally different. Like, I want to be able to make enough money where I'm not worried about providing, or like I want to be able to spend time with my family, and I want to be able to. I want to make enough money that I'm financially free. So I'm freedom. That's what I want. That's how I look at money now. It's equals freedom to do the things I want to do. Which, if I'm giving to the church and I'm doing things for God, and He allows me to do that, and that's in His plan, awesome. If it's not, that sucks.
It sucks, right? But it's like I said earlier too. You should find some peace.
Yeah, it's gonna be peaceful, and it's like, and you're not gonna realize it in the moment. It's gonna be 5 years down the road when you're like, wow, I'm glad that didn't work out because my life is really cool now.
Yeah.
So.
But all right, brother, I'm gonna wrap this up. We're sitting at 2.5 hours. That's crazy. This is the longest episode that we've ever done, clearly. Which has been great. This has been a great episode. Great episode for the first guest too. And I want to leave everyone with something that's been heavy on my mind. And Tyler, feel free to give your take here on this as well. In all aspects of these, in faith, family, fitness, winning in all three of those subjects is hard. Winning in general is always going to be hard. I've been listening and reading about Michael Jordan a lot, and he talked about in the Last Dance documentary, he said winning has a price, and to win in all of these aspects, there's going to be sacrifices that you have to make. There's going to be, prices, you're going to have to pay some fees along the way to get to where you want to go with all three of these. And it's always going to be difficult. It's always going to be hard. And that is the way that life has always intended to be. It's never been intended to be anything different than that. And if you truly, truly want to win at all three of these subjects or at anything else in your life, you're going to have to go through those failures, those difficult times, and make all of those sacrifices that winning requires to meet you at the finish line. And I want to leave everyone with that. And Tyler, if you'd like to add on to that, you can.
You said it perfectly, dude.
Said it perfectly?
Yeah.
That was all off the dome, too.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
But Tyler, bro, thank you so much for being here, brother. I appreciate you taking the time on a Saturday night. We're here 10:30 p.m. on a Saturday night. We're recording this. Thank you so much for just being here with me and sharing your perspective. Like I said at the beginning, it's been amazing to be a close friend with you and watch you go through this transition. And you've helped me more than you know along the way. As you've transformed, you've helped me transform as well. And I greatly appreciate you, and I love you, bro. And I'm so proud of you, man.
Appreciate that. I'm honored to be the first guest. So exciting. Last point of this is just have people around you that support you. Like me and Tucker, we're doing radically different things, but we're trying to get the same outcome. And no matter how you get to the point in life where you want to be, just keep on believing in yourself and surround yourself with people that are like-minded. and they'll help you get there. So
yes, sir. I
Yes,
will
sir.
100% agree with that. And to everyone listening out there, thank you so much for tuning in today. And I will see everyone in the next episode.